Live from Soho, New York City, it's Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern.
It's me voguing.
This is our first show after the 1 year anniversary.
It's our 51st show. It's our 50th show today. 50th show. Yeah, that's what it
intense.
is. Welcome to the show. It's August 13th today on Wearable Electronics with me, Becky Stern. With me is Phil, Mr. Lady Ada. He's going to tell us what's on today's show.
On today's show, the code is, drum roll. It's not drum roll, it's teardown.
Teardown.
Yeah.
You can get 10% off your shopping spree today.
Wearable Wednesday.
We're going to show you some cool stuff, customer projects, and debut a new video.
Component of the week.
It's another battery holder, because, you know, I like those.
Okay. Tools we really, really like.
Yeah, we have another tool for documenting and seeing today.
Okay. And questions and answers. You have questions, Becky has some answers.
If you have any questions during the show, you can put them in the comments or any other time, also in the comments, or on Google Plus or Twitter or Snap to chat or whatever, and I will load them up for a future show, making you eligible to win the show's giveaway.
This is a Flora.
Today it's a Flora.
All right.
So ask your questions about wearable electronics. If I answer your question, you get entered in the hat to win the giveaway.
All that and more on Wearable Electronics, Becky Stern.
Woohoo.
All right. So we got some stuff going on.
We have to make a slide for this new segment that we've been doing, but
I'm nervous about adding a new segment that relies on me having more time.
It doesn't have to be every week. You know we have 3 segments. I'll only do 2 segments per week.
It's a good segment, though.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's why we could roll it in, you know? Okay, so it's the What Are You Wearing segment.
So what are you wearing? So last week you had...
Google Glass.
You had Google Glass. And I had to dust off... I dusted these off. These are prototypes. This is a prototype of something that Sony made in 1997. Eventually came to market, but this is the board that it goes with. And a million years ago, I used to work for the agency that did stuff with Sony. And this was their first attempt at glasses that would display video. And
they'd hide your eyes so that you couldn't tell that. Could you see out?
You can see out. Here, check it out. And so, oddly enough, this works with the Raspberry Pi right now as a video source.
Oh, really?
And this is the electronics. But then in 1997, and then later on is when the product came out. This is...
Here's our video thumbnail for today, by the way.
Yeah, this is Sony Glasstron. And these are the kind of final... glasses. They stopped making them eventually. Turns out not a lot of people, enough people bought them.
They look great on you. They're really fabulous.
Yeah, if you want to kind of see what 1997 looked like, kind of all in one.
Glasstron.
This is what it looks like. And there's an LCD screen. You can watch videos. There's little headphones that come out the side, and you can kind of do this. You know, not too much different than Google Glass if you think about it. I mean, there's not. It's not shocking.
Except that you had to wear it. You had to put a thing in your pocket.
People
didn't have smartphones then either. So
yeah, there wasn't anything.
Does do all the heavy lifting on the Google Glass. Anyway.
Yeah, so this was Sony Glasstron.
Nice.
So this is what I'm wearing this week.
I like that from the bin.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to my local Starbucks or something and just like kind of sit there and tap away, hack the Gibson or something.
Really ridiculous.
Yeah. So,
nice. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, and check it out, the original box. Yeah.
I wonder how much they're going for on eBay.
You know, we can check during the show. But I'm not quite sure they're going for it a lot.
Okay, well, there's your what are you wearing segment for today. There's no graphics, so I'm just going to go like this.
I have a whole box of things like this.
Yeah, yay. And I keep getting new things, and I have broken toys I can put on too.
Yeah.
All kinds of projects.
All right. Well, let's kick it off.
Kicking off the show.
Yeah, before we do though, if you want to buy stuff that's not retired by Sony that you can get right now, the code is teardown, and that's 10% off everything in store up until 11:59 p.m. tonight. All right, Wearable Wednesday. Let's dive into the most popular resource online for wearable electronics. I think right now, I think there is no other place that has as much wearable electronic posts per week, per day, than the Adafruit site.
Yeah, we're really pumping out the content. It would not be, I don't think it would be tooting our own horn to say that we have the most stuff right now coming out. Although, I mean, Fashioning Tech blog is still really great, but it's a lot of good editorial writing. Susie just put up a post about like wearable tech geared towards women, but as far as like
Ours is like project collection.
yeah, project collection, source code, inspiration, wiring diagrams, and parts.
Yeah. For like long form stuff, I'll go to Fashioning Tech or like Make. We'll do like an interview where they'll have long form. But when I want to see a bunch of projects, I want to hit me up some Wearable Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
yeah, hit
what's
yourself
this?
up some Wearable Wednesday.
Yeah.
This is Trammell Hudson's backpack for a Burning Man. It has EL wire on it and also a 24 neopixel ring out around a flora in the center there on the back. And he covered up the logo on the backpack with some Adafruit patches.
That's a good idea.
He's like our #1 super fan.
Yeah, he kind of takes all the stuff in the store and turns it into projects. Thank you.
Thanks, Trammell.
right.
And have fun at Burning Man.
Yeah, except
This is a really awesome art fashion piece by Australian artist Laura Jade Hines. I hope I'm saying her name right. It has LEDs in the gauzy collar up here, and then a flora in the center, and the flora accelerometer, and LED sequins in this sort of like bib chest piece, and they turn on and flash when the wearer is moving. And there's a cool video on the blog today,
Okay.
and there's a picture of Laura with her creation. Super nice.
next up.
This is a pair
This is
of
cool.
earrings by Marcus Olsen and Vesta Shalin. They're the Swedes, I can't really, or Finns. I'm so sorry, Scandinavian people, with your names. They made this pair of volume meter neopixel hoop earrings. So they took sort of like the Amplify or the baseball hat project and the neopixel ring earrings project and kind of combine them together. So Gemma can use the electret microphone. And there's also
nice.
a video of this one on the site too, where like the earring animation is kind of like going like this with the sound in the room.
Okay.
Super nice. And then this is this week's project debut. It is, as the code suggests, a teardown of the June. Remember what in the What Were You Wearing segment 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
I was wearing the June. Now I have taken the June apart.
But you didn't get this until August. This is the June? Yeah.
Right.
You didn't get the June in June at
no,
all.
I didn't get it in June. That's
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah, but you got it in August.
I got it in August.
So you got the June in August, not July.
Name of the product. July is just out of this whole.
When did it ship?
I think I got it in the end of July.
You got it in July?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because 2 weeks ago. Last week was the first show in August.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if they tried to ship them in June. Were they shipping these, or did this like this is?
I don't think they were shipping them in June. I think they started shipping them in July.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure actually.
You know, everyone's like, we should really try to ship these in June.
Let's call it June. It's not a bad name for a sun-related product.
Yeah.
Anyway, I took it apart. I'm still wearing the bracelet because it's just a cute leather bracelet, but we did have to dunk it in acetone to get it apart. But we have a video all about it. Why don't we play the video?
Okay, I'm gonna roll a video.
Welcome to another Adafruit Wearables Teardown. Today we're looking inside the June UV Exposure Sensing Bracelet by Natmo. The tiny clip easily passes as jewelry, and one of the shiny facets has a bunch of holes on it to let light through to the UV index sensor. It communicates over Bluetooth Low Energy with iOS devices, tracking your sun exposure over time and triggering reminders to reapply your SPF. The battery recharges over USB and lasts about a month. I tried to get inside using my typical prying and cutting tools with no luck. Time to bring out the solvents. After 2 hours soaking in acetone, June popped right open. Oh, that worked. Huh. Yoink, look, teardown complete. Inside, there's a tiny circuit board full of components. Let's see what Lady Ada has to say about the engineering of this wearable device.
Hey everybody, it's a sunny day here at Adafruit, which means it's a great day to take apart a UV sensor. This is that June sensor that Becky kindly disassembled to the point where we got to the circuit board. This is an NRF 51822, which is our favorite Nordic Bluetooth Low Energy chipset. This is a Bluetooth 4.0 chip from Nordic, and it actually is a ARM Cortex chip, so you can program this. This actually does all the work, basically, of transmitting data to your iOS app or Android app, and setting statuses. And there's 2 crystals that go with it. There's probably a 16 megahertz crystal and then a 32 kilohertz crystal for low power usage. So that's kind of a nice design. They actually put both crystals in there. Nice work. And here's the Balin, and there's a flex PCB as the antenna, which is a cute idea. I mean, I don't know if that was necessary. They could use a chip antenna, but this might be less expensive and better range. And then there's the programming pins here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's the JTAG or SWD programming circuitry. And on the back, there's a little CR1225 rechargeable coin cell. This is, I think, a lithium ion mini coin. We can kind of peel it up here a little bit and take a closer look at it. So it says ML 1220 from Japan, but yeah, it's probably like a little mini rechargeable coin cell. You don't need to have something very powerful for the NRF 51822. It's extremely low power, especially when running off of the 32 kilohertz clock. This one is probably the coin cell charging circuit. It uses a USB to charge, so there's got to be a charging circuit on there. So it's probably either this one or this one. I'm going to guess this one, but it could be that. It's hard to tell which one is which. And then what's interesting is that, one thing you've noticed that there's no UV sensor chip. You're wondering, like, well, how does it actually do UV sensing? Well, actually, they really cheaped out here. They did something very clever and very, very low cost. They actually have a UV LED die, 2 of them probably, over here. And they just have bond wires to turn this, little die here. They tie it to ground here and here. And they just back bias it to measure probably visible and UV light. They probably just have 2 LEDs that they use, and then they use that with calibration to figure out the approximate UV index. And since this is kind of going into this section, I think that this chip here is the op amp. You're going to need a nice op amp to amplify the microamp output from the back biased LED and feed that into the NRF 51822, which I think has analog input. So as long as it amplifies it enough, over here, this should be able to read it. If not, then I don't remember if this chip has an onboard ADC. If it doesn't, then maybe this is just a very sensitive ADC, and there's a transistor amplifier here. So yeah, very, very basic, very simple. Really good profit margin on this one. It's about like $4 in parts. Probably still a little bit of calibration, maybe $5. But if it does the job, then they probably calibrate it in the factory, hopefully, since these dies will vary from lot to lot. So that's a June, pretty straightforward. Nordic NRF 51822 plus the extras plus some LEDs is your wearable.
For this and many other teardowns, we use the Adafruit USB microscope and its articulated stand. If you want to get started sensing the sun, try building your own sunscreen reminder hat using our tutorial and the Flora UV index sensor. The link is in the description. And if you liked this video, there's more wearables disassembly in our teardowns playlist. And don't forget to subscribe for more projects and videos from Adafruit.
Okay, we're back.
Cool. How'd you guys like that?
Yeah.
Inside. It's not as sophisticated on the inside as it looks on the outside. No, is it? It's very pretty, by the way.
Okay.
Brass.
And you're wearing it all the time, so therefore it's like, it's a thing, right?
What do you mean?
It's a thing. Like, it's more than just like a novelty thing. It's like, it's actually a nice looking bracelet.
It's a nice looking thing, yeah. And like, I'm wearing the bracelet just because the bracelet looks nice without it on it. But the little clip, it's very nice. It's a little gemstone thing. You can clip it to like other stuff besides your bracelet too. I think it's nicer looking than like the Tory Burch Fitbit, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do all the same stuff as the Fitbit. And as Lamore pointed out, it's maybe a little gimmicky on the inside.
Yeah. I like that we're kind of capturing these wearables as they come out and then taking them apart.
Well, I have a list.
Yeah.
I have a list. It's called Wearable Technology for Teardown that does not exist yet. And it is a list of like Kickstarter projects and like pre-order now.
Do you sort them by renderings only and like
Oh my god, you know what
photos?
my favorite is and you've seen this document, it's like got like the images that they're using for marketing and some of it is clearly like stock photography with like stuff photoshopped over top of it. Anyway, I have a list so that we try to get these things as soon as they come out, as soon as they're a shipping actual products you can buy, and let you know what it's all about. This one I think is pretty. I don't think it, based on Lamore's dissection of how it's working on the inside, I don't think that its functionality is going to live up to its hype, but and I do wish it had Android support because I had to borrow Adafruit iPhone, and that always makes me feel a little bit nervous because whenever I hold it over a hard surface, I am certain I will drop it.
Yeah.
Don't ever hand me your if you meet me in person, don't ever hand me your iPhone. I will drop it. Not on purpose. I'm just a super butterfingers, and those things are really slippery.
Next up.
Anyway.
Don't forget the code teardown.
If you want to get a USB microscope or a pair of tweezers or anything else to do your own teardowns,
Yeah.
you can get 10% off.
Okay. Component of the week. This is a powerful component.
It's a wee powerful component.
It's a little powerful.
Wee.
That's my joke.
It's the two coin cell battery holder for the CR2032 batteries with a switch on it, and that's kind of what it's got to offer, which is great. It's a 6-volt output battery holder, and it is perfect for Gemma plus a couple things, and that's what we recommend it for. Either straight up sequins, or Gemma plus a couple sequins, or Gemma plus a couple neopixels. And we've used it for this interior purse light, so that's got 5 sequins on it and Gemma, and it's detecting with Velcro, conductive Velcro when you open the purse and lighting up. We got that battery pack for this one, and it's nice because you can switch the whole thing off when you are not using that purse, and then you switch it on for the night, and then and Gemma uses very little power when it's just sitting there. So great little guy. We have 2 more projects that we've used it in.
You've got this one.
The sequins hat. So this battery holder is perfect to put on your head or anywhere where you don't have a lot of space to store stuff because it's very lightweight. And like I said before, it has an on-off switch. And then again, in the Space Face makeup tutorial, we glued this battery holder to a hair clip and then Gemma to the battery holder, and then it makes a nice little compact clip that you can stick in your hair, and then that's got 5 neopixels.
I think makeup in general is going to continue to be a place where you see a lot of people who they're not like craft folks, they're not electronic folks, but they do like costuming makeup. So I saw Guardians of the Galaxy and like whatever, it was like a movie, like comic book movie.
I didn't see it yet,
but the I think the best part of that movie was the makeup work.
Oh.
And there was like CG and all that stuff, but the makeup was phenomenal. And when I saw it, there were some things that reminded me of the Space Base thing.
I like that show Face Off on Sci-Fi. It's exactly the same premise as Project Runway, but it's for special effects makeup.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. Like watch people come up with a concept and execute their vision per episode. It's pretty. It's like make or crack, those kinds of TV shows.
If you want to get some of these things but want to pay a little bit less, you can use the code TEARDOWN, 10% off.
10% off. You're like, I don't remember how much this battery holder is, but it's very inexpensive. You can get several cents off.
Save a nickel. That's what it probably is. Save 10 cents.
You can save 10% on your whole cart, so it's
Okay.
Pretty
Tools
good.
you love.
Tools we love. We love the articulated stand for the
this is handy.
USB microscope. In case you haven't seen any of our teardown videos before, I mention it in every single one.
Yeah.
It's just like my Manfrotto Magic Arm, which is the professional photography equipment I use to film stuff over top of my desk. It's the premise is that it has this one adjustment dial that loosens all of the connections, and then you can put it in whatever position you want and then tighten it back down and have it stay. So that's what it looks like when it's open. The microscope is not included when you buy it.
You can travel around with it, put it in your bag.
Yep, it folds flat, which is super convenient. And here it is when we tore apart the Shine. In action, when we took apart the Shine activity monitor. Here it is when we took apart the Reebok Check Light sports impact indicator, and when we took apart the Nekomimi Brainwave cat ears project. So we use it in every teardown basically to get a close-up look at those circuit boards with our USB webcam microscope.
Okay. You can use the code and save if you want to get one of those. That's what that's there for. That's why we put it on there.
Exactly what it's there for.
That's why we put it on the screen. Okay. Question and answer is this week's prize going to be a Flora?
Yes. Exciting.
Let's jump right in. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Quiz time for Becky.
Okay.
All right. How about a MIDI jacket? How about a MIDI thing? How about a MIDI thing? So this is all about, so someone wants a bunch of different types of MIDI things. They want Firewalker shoes that could be MIDI based. Do you have any plans for a tutorial like the drum glove for MIDI and then a MIDI jacket by Machina? So what do you have to say about that?
What I have to say about that is thank you for being inspired by our MIDI drum glove project.
That was the goal.
That is the goal.
Yeah.
And while music projects are not my forte, I am always willing to do them, and whenever like Colin and Noe and Pedro can help me to make the actual like music that gets played from the physical device. I'm really good at the actuators, but I was a drummer in junior high school, but I haven't been so musically inclined since. Yeah. Anyway, we don't have, so for that reason, my project calendar is full of Halloween costumes and blinky things. But all of those projects you mentioned, making like the Firewalker sneakers, like create beats when you walk, that's all totally possible, and all you need to do is slightly modify this project. So I would encourage you to do so. Yeah,
those questions are cool because to me, they sound like, hey, I should build this. I should build this. I should build this.
Will
Which
you
one?
tell me it's okay?
Yeah. You should do. Those are all excellent projects,
okay.
and
Please
everything
make
that
those.
and all the things that we have online will help you do that.
Yeah, and then when you show me, I will share it on the show.
Okay, next up, this is from Yvonne. I'm thinking of designing my own shift register breakout board to put into the arm of a sweater, and I'm wondering about ESD protection. Have you had any issues with ESD with bare board inside of fabric pockets? Any protection that I can add?
It is tough. Sweaters are static monsters. So, I mean, while I've never had any of my projects damaged by ESD, or I don't think so anyway, I haven't been able to trace back any. Usually when I break things, I'm able to trace it back to a physical broken connection and not a part damaged by static dissipation. But, with sweaters, it could be a thing. What you're mainly looking for is proper grounding of your circuit to prevent a static from actually like building up enough voltage to harm your components. So you could take a ground wire or a ground thread and like sew it into the inside of the sweater so it touches your skin. But I honestly don't think you're going to have too much trouble.
Okay, next up, this is from Jason. I'm planning on making a shirt with my name on it, Jason. When you tap a letter on it, it should play a tone and illuminate that letter. What parts should I use, and are there guides that might be helpful?
J-A-S-O-N.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. I'm thinking like immediately what came to mind was like varsity letters, felt varsity letters.
Yeah, or if he sees his dad, he could just be, hey, it's me, your S-O-N. S-O-N. I don't know.
J-A-S-O-N.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you named me this?
Yeah.
You should look at Leslie's Close Encounters hat tutorial on the learning system. It has neopixels and a piezo that play tones with every note. So that's a good project for looking at like, oh, I want this note and this light to happen.
Yeah.
And then she actuated the sound with a photocell that you cover with your hand or activates in the dark. But you could do that, and you could touch them and cover up a light sensor.
Yeah.
You could also, like in the MIDI drum glove project, you could use piezos as knock sensors and make it so that you knock on the letters. You could also put little tactile buttons. That would be my super recommended number one way to do it. That's for sure not going to cause you trouble. Is put little tactile buttons underneath the letters.
Okay, next up. This is from Peter. A question for next week. Has anyone made a soft controller version of the Arduino boards, Gemma, etc.? I would love to take a virtual board, Codebender, and my downtime at work to play with sketches. Thanks. You and I talked about this before the show.
Yeah.
Not really.
I haven't seen anyone make an Arduino emulator.
There was a simulator in like the App Store on Apple, and like people have made these, but putting on a breadboard is like cheaper, easier, faster.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen a full simulation package that like works perfectly.
Yeah, because you need to like simulate all kinds of
all sorts of stuff.
all sorts of stuff. But I mean, and I'm not a super software developer, so my way of doing this kind of thing is to just have an extra Flora with some neopixels attached to it and alligator clips, and I'm just like that's my like prototype Flora, and I just like use it at my desk with alligator clips. That's easier and faster for me. I know that's not what you wanted to hear, but if you're so into it, please make it yourself and share it with everybody else.
It's a huge project.
It is a huge project.
But check
That's
out,
why people don't do
yeah,
it.
check out the App Store, because I think I remember there was like an Arduino simulator. I don't know if it works though.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely don't have one for Flora or Gemma.
Next up, this is from Jason Cole. Can I use Mod Podge to waterproof seal electronics, or will it be too conductive and cause issues? What we recommend to seal neopixels, ring type, etc. from rain?
I don't think that Mod Podge is conductive when it's dry. I'm not sure.
What is Mod Podge?
Mod Podge.
What is
Oh my
that?
gosh, Phil, you don't know what Mod
I
Podge
do.
is. You're being devil's advocate.
I'm an advocate for the devils.
You really like that. Whatever. When I went to grad school, the sports team was the Devils, the Sun Devils. Anyway,
We're in negotiations with them. I represent the other devils. Want to know about Mod Podge?
Mod Podge is like a decoupage medium. It's basically like a painter's water-based matte medium, or you can get it in glossy too. And people use it for like decoupaging their like nightstand table or whatever, right? Like sealing paper craft projects. But they're mainly indoors. So Mod Podge isn't recommended for like UV exposure, long exposure to the elements. Because it is water-based, so it eventually will absorb water and wash away. So I wouldn't recommend Mod Podge. It'd be okay if you wanted to, like, if you were going to go out in the sprinkles and you want, like, if you only have Mod Podge, you could try it. It certainly won't do this thing you're concerned about, be too conductive. That won't happen. It just won't be very durable. So what I recommend you do is you watch this video about ruggedizing your wearable electronics, where I provide some suggestions about this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you can also I recommend a spray-on clear coat, like a Rust-Oleum clear spray paint that's like approved for outdoor use, because that's going to stand up to your elements and your rain and your sun, which is important. But you can use like electronics conformal coating. It's just a little bit harder to find than clear spray paint.
All right, last question of the day. This is the Fonz. Regarding the supply of power to a long strip of neopixels, if the neopixels were to use 4 amp, but I only have a 5 volt 2 amp supply, would it be damaging for the power supply? Would the pixels just not be able to show at full brightness, or would the pixels early in string just be brighter than the ones close to the end?
Certainly not the latter. That effect where it's like bright in the beginning of the strand and not as bright at the end would indicate like a loss of voltage over the strand, which happens when you use conductive thread, but doesn't happen when you use wire. So no matter what the effect, it's going to be over the whole strand.
It'd be dimmer, if anything.
Be dimmer, yeah. Okay. So if you have a good power supply, nothing bad will happen to it. Your LEDs will just be dimmer, and they might struggle. And at certain points, if they draw too much power, what can happen is if it causes like a spike, it can cause the power in the whole circuit to dip momentarily, which could reset your microcontroller. And if your microcontroller keeps resetting, then you're obviously not going to be getting the good animation that you want, because your program will always be starting from the beginning until it hits that point where the microcontroller crashes again. And if you're using batteries, it's not recommended, especially with rechargeable batteries, to pull more than the recommended amount of current, because if they don't have like a discharge controller, they could heat up. Our batteries are pretty good about that. They have like the little the thermistor inside and the little charge controller that makes sure they don't get overcharged. And I've never had those batteries heat up on me. But if you're using like a crappy AC adapter that doesn't have the right kinds of protections, it could get hot and like bust apart and then like catch on fire.
You're not bust apart or catch on fire. Okay.
But probably not. If it's just like one of the AC adapters we sell, it should be fine. It'll just make your LEDs dimmer, which is also a bummer. But if you use if you just make your NeoPixel code make the LEDs dimmer, you can dramatically reduce your current draw. So while each NeoPixel can draw like 60 milliamps, if you only have it set at half brightness, it's gonna draw much less than that.
Yeah.
And so you might be okay, even if your circuit is spec'd out to at its max draw 4 amps. It might draw way less than that.
I believe that's covered in the Uber guide.
It's covered in the Uber guide. It's also covered partially in the battery powering your wearable projects video, where I hook up my giant textile NeoPixel display to the power supply and am seeing and measuring how much current it's using.
All right. Okay. Well, those are all great questions. And with great questions come great prizes.
Remember, if you ask a good question, and I mean good, just relevant to everybody's interests, and not a question about like how old my dog is. Although, I would answer that question, I just wouldn't answer on the show.
Yeah.
Then you'll be made eligible to win a prize. Somebody is going to win a Flora right now.
This is happening. This is happening right
Live
now.
on the internet, everybody.
Yeah.
Yvonne,
yeah.
Yvonne LaCroix.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You asked your question about your shift register sweater, which now you are obliged to show me once it's done, your shift register sweater. I hope that you don't have any issues with ESD with your new Flora. You can email support@adafruit.com to claim your prize, and I'll also reach out to you on...
Yeah.
That could be YouTube, or that could be... That's Google+.
How do people post questions?
You can,
just a reminder.
Like Yvonne, you can post it on Google+, or you can post it in the comments of this video, or you can hit me or Adafruit up on Twitter.
Yeah.
Or you can send me a carrier pigeon.
Comment on YouTube, Twitter.
Google+.
Yeah, you can post comments on blog posts. You can post comments on the Google+ posts. Yep. There's a lot of ways.
I look at all of that stuff.
Yeah,
but the comments of this video is totally the easiest for me to find later.
Okay. All right. Well,
and if I miss your question and I don't ask it, you can ask it again. I might catch it. I might have missed it.
That's our show this week, where we show wearables from the past. I will try to dig up more stuff that didn't quite work out.
This is so cool.
That you wear on your face.
I can see you guys, but to you, can you guys see in the reflection? You can see the camera and the lights and stuff. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back again next week. If you have a project to show off, like maybe you made one of our VU meter baseball hats. You can share it in the live show and tell on Google Plus Hangout on Air at 7:30. And then at 8 o'clock, followed by Ask an Engineer.
That's right.
And then tune in tomorrow for our second episode of our live 3D printing hangout with Matt Griffin and Noe and Pedro Ruiz.
Yeah. You know, it's my thing to just always kind of... So it's the most popular live 3D printing show right now.
It's the only live 3D printing show.
It's
the only, most popular and longest running.
I'm kind of setting it up for someone else to come along, because you know what would be funny if there was two, because like we could duke it out between like we're the second most popular live wearable show or the second most popular live 3D printing show, because I think that's funny. But anyways, there's
longest running, most popular, and second episode of the 3D printing show is tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's coming up soon. Okay, all right. Well, thank you everybody. We'll see you
next week.
We'll see you soon.